to speak to in a fireside conversation this morning. I don't think a few years ago we would have thought that we'd be welcoming someone from a Syrian government talking about economy and investment. So it truly is a privilege and an honour to welcome onto stage this morning His Excellency Mohammad Nidal al-Shaar.
Can we go in there?
Oh, please do, yes. And then you can join me here.
Good morning. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Syria has survived the wreckage of dictatorship. The criminal regime of Bashar al-Assad left behind ruins of cities, of lives, and of our economy. That era is over. Today, Syria is not asking for sympathy. Syria is offering partnership. Syria is no longer a disruptor in its region, but a driver of stability. No longer a source of crisis, but a source of confidence. No longer an exporter of fear, but an exporter of opportunity. We will build an economy where justice is our GDP, where markets replace militias, and where governance replaces graft and chaos. Rebuilding Syria is not just pouring concrete. It is about transforming our economy into one that is resilient, rules-based, and inclusive. Our renewal rests on 3 principles, and we are already translating them into action. First, resilience. We are making resilience part of our national DNA. Our recovery is not just about rebuilding structures, it is about rebuilding confidence, restoring dignity, and renewing faith in our own capacity to rise. We are doing this by launching a national recovery path that connects rebuilding with long-term growth and opportunity, forming local recovery councils where communities lead their own renewal, strengthening local businesses and supply chains so that recovery starts in Syrian hands and Syrian hearts. Resilience means not only surviving crises, but turning struggle into strength, like the olive tree, battered but unbroken, Syrian people will endure. Second is governance. The rule of law is the foundation of trust. To restore that trust, we are introducing digital public services to make licensing and registration transparent, enforcing anti-corruption laws with independent oversight, publishing regular budget and economic updates to enhance accountability. Governance for us is not control, it is clarity, predictability, and fairness. The third principle is inclusion. No peace without justice, no stability without equality. We are promoting inclusion by empowering women-led enterprises through training, finance, and access to markets, ensuring rural and marginalized communities are full partners in reconstruction, safeguarding minority participation in governance and economic life. Our minorities' rights will not only be protected but celebrated. Because Syria's diversity is not just a challenge, it is a strength. When every citizen has a stake, recovery becomes renewal. Guided by these 3 principles, resilience, governance, and inclusion, we are shaping our new economic model for Syria, a model built not on short-term recovery, but on long-term renewal. These values come in life through 5 pillars of economic development, each one a cornerstone of stability, opportunity, and sustainable growth. These 5 pillars are, first, reconstruction and infrastructure. We are rebuilding not what was lost, but what must last. Our infrastructure policy prioritizes public-private partnerships in transport, energy, and water, local construction initiatives that create jobs and ownership, transparent recruitment, so every project builds both roads and trust. Infrastructure is not just cement, it is credibility, connectivity, and confidence. Second, energy and sustainability. From black From blackouts to bright futures, renewable energy is our independence. We are implementing renewable energy zones for solar and wind projects, energy reforms that promote efficiency and reduce waste, regional interconnections that make energy a bridge, not a barrier. Energy will no longer divide us, it will power our shared future. Third, technology and human capital. Our greatest resource lies not beneath the ground, but within our people. Our youth make up for 65% of our population. We are advancing this through innovation hubs and startup incubators in universities and cities, education reform aligned with digital and market needs, a digital Syria program connecting institutions, schools, and businesses. Because capital flow where human capital grows, Syria's youth will drive that growth. Fourth, agriculture and food security. We are building food security by modernizing irrigation and using water wisely, supporting farmers' cooperatives and community markets, encouraging agro-industry to create jobs and value. A nation that feeds itself must truly frees itself. This is what we believe in. Fifth, the most important industry and SMEs, small and medium enterprises. Small and medium enterprises are the backbone of resilience. We are enabling them through simplified business registration and regulation, access to finance programs for startups and family enterprise, industrial clusters in key cities to promote specialization and exports. From Aleppo's factories to Damascus's workshops, Syrian enterprise will rebuild Syria. Excellencies, no nation can build its economy without rebuilding its conscience. The renewal demands not only infrastructure and investment, but also integrity. Justice is not a chapter after recovery. It is the foundation upon which lasting peace and prosperity must stand. The crimes of war committed by the former regime and by all parties must be confronted with honesty. We are establishing transitional justice mechanisms and community reconciliation platforms to ensure truth, compensation, atonement, and closure. Accountability is not an obstacle to peace. It is the foundation of legitimacy and trust. Excellencies, after justice comes renewal, and renewal requires reconnection. No economy can grow in isolation, and no people can prosper behind barriers. As Syria prepares to rejoin the global community, we do so with open hands and open markets, ready to build trust, attract investment, and contribute to regional stability. No nation can be resilient in isolation again. With Caesar sanctions set to be lifted at the end of this year, I mean here the American Caesar Act, Syria enters a new phase, a phase of responsible reintegration. We are ready to rejoin the global economy with transparency, reform, and confidence. Our economic reintegration plan is already underway, reconnecting our financial system to global market and global networks under international standards, establishing a transparent investment framework, welcomes partners while protecting Syrians' sovereignty, reopening trade routes and regional supply chains to restore Syria's historic role as a hub of commerce, launching an open procurement system to ensure reconstruction funds reach productive sectors, strengthening public institutions so that every dollar invested is a dollar accounted for. The lifting of sanctions is not the end of the struggle. It is the beginning of a new responsibility to build Syria that is investable, credible, and connected. Syria's reintegration is not merely an economic event. It is a commitment to shared prosperity and regional stabilities. Resilience is more than survival for us. Governance is more than administration. Inclusion is more than fairness. It is the engine of shared prosperity. This is Syria we are building today. resilient against shocks, yet open to opportunities, governed by law, not by fear, inclusive of all citizens, and accountable for the past, a trusted partner for investors, and a responsible actor in regional stability. When Syria rises, the region steadies, and when the region steadies, the world is safer. Syria is no longer a story of destruction. It is a story of hope, of dreams, of growth, of stability. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Your Excellency, that was a speech that I didn't expect to hear. Can I just start by asking you to give us a picture of what government's day-to-day looks like right now? You know, it's obviously a very new government. How is the bureaucracy working? I know that sounds like a slightly boring question, but I'm just quite keen to understand how you're actually building the structures that can deliver on your 3-point plan.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me the chance to speak with you all. We got Syria back completely destroyed, all over the place. About half of Syria is, I would say, comfortably completely destroyed. So where to start from? This was an issue that we had to deal with in the beginning. We got the central bank with only $200 million. Everything was gone. Prior to that, before the revolution, we had about $22 billion in our central bank. When we entered the central bank on the 8th of December 2024, there was only $200 million. Ruins all over the place. Unemployment rate is around 80%. 12 million displaced. About 7 or 8 million refugees all over the world. This is the situation that was in our hands from the beginning. So what we did, we decided to start mending all those small issues. We wanted people to go back to the labor force. We don't want people to be on the streets because for us, these will be like ticking bombs. So the path that we followed is through cooperating and dealing with people, listening to them, and making decisions according to their demands, not our demands as a government. It was not an easy task. It's still not. And we're dealing with so many problems. If you're talking about the government, for example, we have the issue of overcompliance. The system was a weird system. In the past, we always claimed, or Syria government claimed, that we had a socialist system. Actually, it was not socialist. I wish it was socialist. It was nothing but chaotic. Things were custom tailored to serve the self-interest of a group of people or one person. And that, you're talking about 60 years of this, way of doing things. So how do you correct that? You have to start from, small cells of the economy. You have to empower them. You have to push them to go to the labor force, And the beauty about Syria, which nobody expected, when we came into Damascus, Aleppo, Homs, and Damascus, everyone was expecting blood all over the place. Actually, nothing happened. We came in, it was peaceful. People received us with open hands and open hearts, and not even a single crime was committed in Aleppo. Aleppo was 5 million inhabitants at that time when it was liberated. So it's a very complex story, and it has all dimensions you can think about, but we're moving. Our most important goal today is re-engagement and reintegration. We have to re-engage with the world because we were distant from that world at least for the last 15 years. We missed on technology, we missed on social advancements, we missed on everything. We were completely isolated, protecting that sick person who was in power. So now we're back, and we have to do re-engagement. This re-engagement cannot be arbitrary or chaotic. It has to be organized and orchestrated in a way that would preserve our sovereignty, and at the same time, the others would open, their hearts for us. And with trips like this is part of the re-engagement and reintegration we're doing. It's not easy because if you talk about economics, our economic level today is so humble, and our natural resources are not complete, unfortunately. We still have some issues in the northeast part of Syria. Our oil, our gas, our cotton, our grains are still not under our control, under this government control, because of some political issues that we hope will be solved in the near future.
Sure. Before we get into your resources and unlocking those, I'm quite interested to know how your president is running the departments, your cabinets. I mean, what's his overall style?
The style is very open. It's based on discussions. It's based on consultation. You have free access. As you know, we followed the presidential system, so we don't have prime ministry now in Syria. We have the president and then all the ministers, around 22 of them. We're starting setting up some agencies that would take care of specific issues, like Agency for Investment, Agency for Health Issues, Agency for Aviation. And the president is still in contact directly with the ministers.
So he'll call you direct, or you can call him direct?
Yes. There's direct access, free access, and it's been really working in a very smooth way. Yeah.
And I know you can't reveal everything that goes on internally by way of conversation, but you know, when he is having his cabinet, when he's speaking to his ministers, what is his real driving force, do you think?
The driving force is Syria today is a different country. We are a peaceful nation. We're a friendly nation. We want to deal with everyone. We want to go back to Syria being the hub of the Middle East, being the source of stability and the source of opportunity and a nice transit way for everyone. These are the goals that we're striving to achieve, and nothing else. We have no political, I would say, aims or dreams anymore. What we need is we would like to sit, to live, and integrate with everyone, re-engage with all countries, regardless. The most important is peace. We're not going to be the bullies of the Middle East like we used to be before, unfortunately.
And because these are obviously amazing and wonderful things to try and achieve, but where do you see the challenges to that? Because, of course, it's not the easiest of regions.
Yeah. The most difficult is mentality and mindset. Today, we have to change a mentality that has been rooted into our people, our institutions for the last 65 years. It's not easy to change. It takes time. You've got to start from home, from schooling, to change this mentality. One issue is that manifests itself, which is over-compliance. This is something that we suffer from today, and it is because it was the remnants of the past system. People are scared to do things, and we have another issue that we're suffering from, which is psychologically termed strategic incompetence, where people know how to do things, but refuse to do them. And this is something that we have our share of suffering more than any other country, because some people are still reluctant, to participate in this development process. So,
and is that reluctance from a fear that became so endemic in a war-torn country, or is it something more than that?
The fear of government. It was like a nightmare, just having a policeman walking next to a policeman in Syria, next to him in the street, you try to avoid him. This fear of governance, of government, fear of control, makes people hesitant to participate and to come in and do things. Therefore, they'll tell you, even if they know how to do things, they'll tell you, oh, no, I don't want to get involved. And this is getting better over time. The other issue, the other challenge that we have is unemployment. We have about 65% rate of unemployment, exactly the percentage of youth in our population. And we have to find work for them. We have to get them back to the labor markets. And in addition to that, which is the most scary part, is we have about 2.5 million young kids who don't know how to write or to read or to do anything meaningful. They can't even paint a wall. Those are ticking bombs, and we have to find work for them. They're now not in the cities, they're in the suburbs, they're on the borders, but at one point they'll come into the cities, and we have to be prepared to get them into the labor market and find them work. So our challenge again today is training, rehabilitation, and development. We're trying, to get as much aid as possible to perform training and to educate those kids, starting from basic education, reading and writing, all the way to vocational, expertise. This is a big challenge, huge.
So in effect, you have two communication strategies, really, don't you? You have one which is an internal one, and you have one which is an external one. Do you feel that there's enough capacity in the system to meet the demands of both?
Both inside and outside? Yeah. I mean, like you mean the diaspora or the people, refugees? No, we don't have, actually. We are learning how to do it, how to communicate. We're adopting new methods and new ways. We're relying on friends and partners to deliver some of the messages, but we're not really sophisticated at this point in doing that, and the time limitations that there are so many other issues that we have to deal with on a daily basis, prevents us from giving this important subject its full, what it deserves.
And in a world of such competing priorities, I mean, how does the president guide his ministers through that?
For priority number one is standard of living. We have to improve standard of living for all people, and I think we've done that. We've been very successful in doing that. Relatively speaking, I'm not bragging, relatively speaking, we've been successful. Today we have some factories that came back to production. In Aleppo, only in the city of Aleppo, we have about 540 factories came back, and after all the ruins and the destructions we have. I have signed myself licenses for 1,500 factories all over Syria. We have so many workshops came back to production, around 17,000 of them in different fields. And today all products and services are available, no more monopoly, the prices are reasonable, and the most important, we have now stability in our exchange rate. For the last 7 months, our exchange rate was 11,000 lira to a dollar, and it's still fluctuating within 10 to 12% of that range, which I think is a real accomplishment, given that this is a country that was almost 70% destroyed and has absolutely no financial resources. So these achievements, I'm not going to take the credit as a government. I think the credit goes to the people of Syria. Their resilience, their hope in building a new country, their dreams of living a decent life, I think, make up for all these accomplishments.
And you mentioned partners earlier. Which international partners are you leaning on most?
I mean, it's ideally we have to go through the closest. The closest is for us is GCC countries. We have very good relationship with the Saudis, and it's improving, and it's really going in a very high speed and a very comforting speed as well.
And what does that look like? Are they helping you, for example, try and unlock those resources like oil and gas and so forth?
Investment, no. What we're focusing now today is on investment. What we would like people to come invest in Syria, not give us freebies. We don't want ATM machines. This policy was in the past, and we don't want to do it again.
So what you?
So we're trying to attract investment.
And when you attract that investment, what is it you want to invest in?
Everything, starting from energy all the way to electricity. The most important for us today is electricity. Energy is a problem because it's mostly destroyed. So we're relying on Qataris, on Turkey, on Saudi Arabia in our energy programs and in infrastructure rebuilding. And we're relying on technology transfer as well because, as I said, we missed on technology. We need to catch up with that. So in the beginning, this is our close relationships, and now we move to the United States. And we are very hopeful that the U.S. will be helping us in our endeavor in economic development. I was just there yesterday. I came in, flew from Washington, D.C., stayed there for like 10 days, met so many businessmen and government officials as well, and they were all interested in sharing us, building Syria again, and striking stability in Syria, which is what we also thrive to achieve.
And does it worry you that instability in the region, and in fact, the world in general, will effectively make it harder or even collapse what you're trying to do?
It will make it harder, but it will not collapse. I mean, look, Syria is so resilient. It's amazing. And we went through hell in the past 60 years. So we were able to protect, part of our...
It's made you resilient.
Yeah, really, really vigilant. So, of course, it's going to be negative, the instability, if it persists in our area, and we hope to be part of the solution. And I see hope that Syria will be part of the upcoming stability in the region, and I'm very hopeful. And when we become partners in making up for the stability, I think we'll be more comfortable, and there will not be any fear or threats.
And I suppose one of the things about really starting from scratch is it gives you an opportunity to mold an economy, a bit like the Gulf states, in fact, with their Vision 2030 plans. Is it your intention to target particular sectors? I think it'd be useful for the audience to know. We have some investors here. Just a general guidance. Yeah. You go in tech, defense tech, fintech, health, infrastructure. What do you think Western investors should be looking at now?
Yeah, it's open actually, and you just said it. It's a place where everything or almost everything was destroyed. So any place you start from is a good place. You'll see the difference right away. We are interested in mega projects like energy projects, airports projects, port projects. Those are coming, but most importantly for us or for our ministry, and I think for the philosophy of the government, is focusing on the individual, the standard of living, and mainly SMEs, small and medium enterprises. We believe that small and medium enterprises are the most important in our journey for development. Syria is a small country. We're only 25 million people. We're not going to be the factory of the world. So we have to choose qualitative, to be focused on quality and not quantity. With the youth population that we have, I see great future in us getting involved in technology. And technology is not a very difficult field to get in, unlike heavy industry. We have to focus on two things: labor-intensive projects, so those kids come back to the labor market, and technology, where we get those talented, young kids into technology. The beauty about technology transfer, it doesn't cost as much as infrastructure building. You can, in a few weeks or days, transfer technology. And I see our youth getting involved in, hardware, software, in cryptocurrencies, blockchain technology, AI. There's a great chance, and they are eager to get involved because we missed on that. And a young kid, a Syrian young kid, was getting himself acquainted with this new technology under the table because the government would not allow them to do that. Today, it's free.
This might sound like a slightly odd question, but in fact it's not, because if you look around Africa, the Chinese are very keen to provide debt, build infrastructure, and so forth. Have you been speaking to the Chinese about any economic investment?
Yes, they're coming to us, and they're coming to us because of their philosophy in doing business. They want to establish factories in Syria and use Syria as a re-export center, and we have no problem with that. But they have approached us, and with big mega projects like cement, like sugar, and plastics, and so there is ongoing now talk with the Chinese to establish, some kind of a partnership with them. It will not be exclusive, it will be partnership.
And is it debt that they're offering you, or is it debt they're offering you, or is it infrastructure projects? I mean, what is the general partnership?
General part in industries. There will be, like, as I said, cement factories, sugar, plastic. I think that's what I can recall, about 5 or 6 projects, mega projects. They're huge.
And are they, in your experience, quicker to the table with these offers than the West, than America or and the GCC, or do you think everyone's really coming in with similar propositions?
Pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, similar.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, thank you so much for joining us here in
You're
London.
quite welcome.
I mean, it's been lovely meeting you. Thank you again for coming to dinner last night, and I hope you've enjoyed your time here. And any news on the Syrian embassy opening up?
Soon.
Soon.
Yeah.
And you're going to keep it in Belgravia Square?
I think so. But there are talks now.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
I wish you all the luck in the
Thank
world,
you.
and I'm sure everyone else in the room also will be wishing you luck and rooting behind that stability and continued peace, not just in Syria, but your region.
Actually, we need all the luck we can get, and I can assure you that Syria today is completely different from the stigma that we had in the past. We are a completely different country, hoping for the different goals and objectives, and we're open to the whole world. We would like to re-engage, and we cannot re-engage without your help. So we need your help, we need your support, we need you to believe in us, that after all that suffering that we went through, we are emerging as normal, happy, comfortable human beings. And I thank you again for listening to me and giving Syria that spot that it deserves. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.